All right, hi everyone. This is Dan. Welcome to Angle, guys. It's been a while since she's done a pick a card, okay? But we're gonna try this out. I've had this idea. I've been spending a lot of winter alone. So for those of you, I'm gonna try and learn how to do timestamps. If I don't put them in on this one, I will learn at some point, but bear with me. Um, During this winter, 2022 has been a rough year, and during this winter, there's been a little bit of alone time, and I've been feeling like I've been dealing a lot with my shadow or my insecurities and things going on within me. And I felt inspired to do, in preparation for the oncoming 2023, what does our shadow want us to know, right? So I have four piles here, four different tarot decks that I've recently purchased in part of this sort of rebirth. And I invite you to come down the rabbit hole of what's going on in the deeper, darker sides of ourselves. And here's the thing, as far as the shadow's concerned, is I truly believe that, without light, there is no dark, and vice versa, right? Without good, there is no bad. And we all have these aspects of self that we spend a large amount of time running from. And so I think it's important that we acknowledge this part of ourselves at some point. If we don't, we can never truly bring it to the light and heal it. And the other aspect is when you bring the dark, it's like the dark gives the value to the light, right? It gives the healing capacity to the light. But I also believe the dark can ground the high vibration of the light, so both are needed and coexist. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So we're just going to work on this together. It may be a bumpy ride. Who knows what's going to come out? But I'll tell you about the little markers and then the decks, and you can put the video on pause. I'm going to edit this video a little bit because I've never done quite this big of a pick a card before. So I'm going to attempt to do edit flashes from one section to the other. So I'm going to film each group on its own and then edit them together. So our first deck, and by the way, anything that I say too, I just want you to understand, anything that I say in my readings, if it doesn't match with your intuition, by all means, throw my whatever I say into the garbage. Do not take my take on things over your own intuition or what your own gut may be saying to you, okay? Especially in matters of the shadow or in the depths of our soul. So let's go in here and take a look if we're ready, especially during this hibernation-y, wintry period. I'm all for it. First guy is King Tut, and he is with the Portent Tarot. Okay. Second, I can't remember his name. I think this is Horus, or a representation of Horus, although Sven broke him and ate his beak off. But he's a bird. He's an Egyptian bird god, and I believe it's a representation of Horus, which is the child of Isis and Osiris, but I'm not 100% sure. And with him is the curious, oh my god, I'm gonna mess this up. Which one is it? The Curious Creatures, Tarot of Curious Creatures, okay? So if that speaks to you, that's maybe your deck, group number 2. Group number 3, this is a Nefertiti bust, and this is the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. Let me hold her up there closer, if you feel drawn to her. And then group 4, this is Bastet. And I believe he's like a god of the underground. I'm not completely sure. The reason why I use the Egyptian markers is because they're kind of sort of from that shadowy sort of woo-woo period. And this deck is the Transient Light Tarot. So I'm going to put the video on pause and do a little editing magic, and we're going to be back with group 1. You choose your group, and I will see you guys in a minute. All right, bye-bye. All right, hello group 1. You guys chose King Tut and the Portent Tarot. So I'm going to put King Tut like up here somewhere. He's going to be off camera, but he's going to be overwatching this whole reading. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm nervous. I haven't done pick a card in ages, guys. So just bear with me. I'm gonna lay out some cards, and I'll tell you. The first card is sort of who you are in the world, and then how you're perceived by the world. Okay. So who you are is the seed. You can't really see it, can you? The seed. Okay. And how you're perceived is agape. There's actually candles through the center. I think it's supposed to be like this. And then I pulled a Moonology card for this deck, and it is New Moon in Capricorn, which we just came through, guys. Your hard work is paying off. Then I brought some of the Wild Mystic deck. We have Love, and we have Secret, the Raven and the Swan. So air and water. Then we have from the Soul, I can't remember this deck, but anyways, it's Truth and Connection. Then we have We Are Reflections of Each Other. And be the king or queen of the world you want. And I'm going to set this over to the side for one moment. This is your final card. I don't want you to see it just yet. I'm going to say this about my pile ones. There's a purity to you that almost isn't made for this world. I feel like my pile ones, this is going to sound strange, but you feel somewhat connected to this world, but disconnected at the same time. And the reason why I say that is agape feels connected with all of this light and candles and everything kind of working together on a spiritual place, right? But this, and the seed to me feels like it's like we take on the shape of whatever we're taught, right? Who we are in the world and how we're perceived. There's all of this color here and then all of this gray. Like, I almost want to say that this group hasn't fully understood the power of who they are and hasn't brought forth, like, I want to say, the vulnerability of who they are. Because we have the love card here, we have connection here. There's a lot of stuff that feels very vulnerable to me. But also, I will say this, for those of you that chose this pile, I kind of felt like this was sort of like the divine masculine pile. And that's why I put Tut as the marker for this pile. And you'll see why I chose this tarot deck for this group. But I do feel like it's like from seed to like sowing, right? From it's like from birth to rebirth, it feels like to me. And the raven is a very magical bird. But he holds a secret, but he also holds the key. Like, I feel like your shadow may hold the key that allows you to open up to your own truth, your own love, and your own connection in this world. And I think that some of you might be hiding a little bit in that. A little bit afraid of that. A little bit nervous of that. Now, new moon in Capricorn definitely gives me masculine vibes, which I love. And it's new moon, like it's rebirth again. And so to me, and it's hard work paying off. This idea of connection, I almost want to say that you guys are like afraid of the world because you could love it as much as you do. It's almost like the seed to me feels like not only has it got all of this possibility for growth and germination and learning and growing and abundance, but it also hides in the dirt. And so, although we might be, I've never worked with a cloth underneath my readings, although we might be, let me shuffle your tarot for what your shadow wants you to know. Although we might be disillusioned, maybe, with the world in the state that it is, I feel like the truth is that we want to love it. We want to be connected to it. And we might, this group may feel this connection much more deeper than they let on. Much more deeply than they let on. And that might intimidate this group or scare this group. There's a lot of strength here. I will say that. There's a lot of like spiritual connection, but also stubbornness, I feel like. There's something in this group that you guys aren't 100% sure that if you unearth or let your shadow be seen, will it be received? Will it be received with love? On the flip side, I feel like this group has no problem loving others. Well, I'll say this. I don't feel like you have any problem loving others, but I feel like you have a problem, a fear of connection, there's something this group is sort of holding back, hiding within your shadow. And I think it's the depth of who you are and what you know, for fear of being hurt, for fear of being seen. And the funny thing is I think you actually are seen more so than you see yourself. You may see yourself as this seed. And this seed is quite powerful because from it can grow this giant, beautiful, abundant, whatever it is we're trying to grow. Like knowledge, this hard work is paying off, says we can grow in whatever direction we want. But I feel like you're hiding. Let's look at your tarot. The King of Cups. I don't even know what that is. It might be the world. I'll have to look at the guide. The Four of Wands. The Four of Cups. The Ace of Cups. Jesus, you guys. And the Seven of Wands. I need to look at what this is. I bet you this is the world. Let me just see. It's either the world or the moon. The reason why I use this, it's very rudimentary. It's very much a minimalist deck. But let me just double check what this card is. This is my first time working with this deck. So let me see. I have the feeling that's Major Arcana. I am going to say this. Within you is a depth of emotion that you don't want others to know about. It's the Chariot. It's Cancerian energy. It's this depth of emotion you don't want anybody to know about because I think you're afraid that you'll be you'll be overcome by it. Overcome by it? It will take over. And it's like this interesting, the color combinations here of truth and we are reflections of each other. It's like what you see in the world or how you see people reflect each other in the world might scare you. I feel like this group is afraid to come out of the closet. I feel like the Chariot indicates we're not going to wait for very long. That this is going to have to come up. The Four of Wands is highly spiritual. It's celebration. It's foundationally sound. It's very spirit connected. The King of Cups is also extremely emotional. The Ace of Cups is this overflow of depth. But this can also be like, there's a lot of cups here. And then Cancerian energy of the Chariot. It's like this emotion is going to have to pour forth from you at some point. If you don't allow it to, I feel like you're robbing the world. It's almost like this emotion in these cups cards needs to pour forth onto this seed so you can actually see the what others see in you in this card, the light, the brightness, the connectivity, all of it, right? I feel like I want to read agape because I don't really know what that represents as an archetype. The seed is obvious to me. It's about germination, percolation, being, able to grow, fruitful, abundant, but in time, right? You don't see yourself as there yet or ready, is my feeling. Agape, though, I don't really know. So let me read what this is. Agape is like way in the back, I think. Yeah? I don't know Roman numerals. This chick, what's her name? I don't know. One second, guys. Sorry. The places. So these are separated in the tools. Flame, the tear, the riddle, the vow, the ring, the vision, nectar, the medallion. There's no that on agape though. I feel like agape is way in the back of the book. Of course you guys are, because the initiations, agape, it's way in the back of the book because you guys are way deep down in the darkness. What if instead of putting yourself at the center of your spiritual practice, you put God, Goddess, or nature at the center? How would this change your approach? Such is the energy of agape. It is alive when we are in awe and wonder, our breath taken away by the sacred force that surrounds us and asks for nothing in return. This card can indicate a spiritual initiation that stretches your capacity to love and serve. That's all of this cups energy, guys. The seed is germinating within you for this growth, and you're afraid of it, is my feeling, or this cosmic connectedness. You're afraid, and this be the king or queen of the world you want. There's so much potential here, it feels like to me, okay? This card can indicate a spiritual initiation that stretches your capacity to love and to serve. You sense the earthly as the heavenly and vice versa. Such an initiatory moment can appear in any form, and like a healing balm to the modern soul, its effects last a lifetime. The agape card may also suggest you reassess what you worship every day, consciously or unconsciously. What are you elevating? Where does the sacred ladder you climb ultimately lead to? So, I really feel like it's funny to me, this group feels like the one that has the most, and I haven't looked at the other groups yet, but I feel like there's a truth and an emotional depth in this group that is seriously frightening to you. But the world needs it. I get a sense that possibly this group maybe has suffered from trauma early on and chose to stay the seed, to stay hidden. I don't want to say to not grow, but to stay kind of surrounded and safe and secure, to hide the secrets. You're aware of the connection, you're aware of the depth. It's also interesting to me that agape and connection kind of have these same blue hues. We have the same hues down here in truth, and we are reflections in each other. This Seven of Wands would indicate sort of trying to maintain our boundaries, trying to stay safe, trying to keep our spirit secure. But we may not be able to do that for very long, is my feeling. Like 2023 for this group, you might find your shadow comes up and brings you some big emotions, things that bubble to the surface. Ultimately, I will say this, and this is like resistance to me. This Four of Cups is like, no, I'm going to hold it off. I'm going to stop the King of Cups. I'm going to stop the Ace of Cups. I can't connect in this way. It's too scary. This is the voice of the shadow, right? Or this is the voice of, like, if they see me, they may take advantage of me. They may hurt me. if I let this seed grow, will they steal my fruit? Is kind of the feeling that I'm getting. It's interesting to me too, because she has this truth card here, and she's in the water of her emotions, like sitting in the water, right? And she's hiding behind a gate, which to me this gate would be the Seven of Wands over here. I think this new moon in Capricorn is significant because we just went through this prior to me filming this. Or maybe it was a new moon in Sagittarius, but Mars has moved into Capricorn. We're in Capricorn season now. So this is very much in alignment for this group as to the timing of this now. I think that there's an opportunity here for you to grow, for you to change, for you to bring forth some of the depth of emotion that you have underneath the surface that you keep secret, that keeps you from connecting. And it's funny to me because I believe that you have a spiritual connection. You understand the bigger, greater picture, but you're holding back and not sharing this truth with the world. Like, and it's this be the king or queen of the world you want, and we have the King of Cups sitting over here. Swan is about grace. I do think that this group is quiet. You don't necessarily tell your secrets. You maybe even hide your truths for fear of them being misunderstood. But I think that this hard work is paying off too. This new moon, it's the darkest moon, right? It's only that very sliver of light coming through. Like, I feel like this is the darkest deck that I had. You guys are in the deepest of the depths of the shadow, or your shadow has got the best goodies buried deep within the ground. And it bears the most fruit. So I have to say to this group, like, and this almost feels like a void of course, like it's like a giant, it feels like a stop, like you're trying to stop the wheels of the chariot from moving forward, but you can't. Once they start to move, it's a done deal. Now I'm going to use this is a kind of like a relationship deck, but I want you to think of these statements as relationships from the shadow self to yourself, to your current conscious self. I love myself enough to walk away. I think from this behavior, from this holding back, like let this pour forth. It's almost like I feel like this group, the world needs what you have emotionally, but you're too afraid to share it. I took the easy way out. Ooh, ouch. I lied to you. I'm gonna say this. This hiding that you've been doing is taking the easy way out. The lie is this fear of the outside world not understanding or taking advantage, harming you, hurting you. Trampling maybe on your love and the connection that you want to provide or the truth that you know. But I feel like this group needs to rise up out of the dark and seriously connect to who you are and what you offer, because it is this seed or this germinating idea of something beautiful that can come out of this. That seed needs the water of these emotions that hide deep within your shadow. And to me, these cards, even the Four of Wands, even the Seven of Wands, and this new moon in Capricorn says to me that you have the strength. The Seven of Wands says to me you have the strength to do this too. The Chariot says you have the willpower, the push. And actually, I will say this too, new moon in Capricorn. Capricorn's the last earth sign. Cancer, which is the Chariot, is the first water sign. So they are across the astrological wheel from one another. So they're quite complementary. So this last like card is the question from the soul. I kind of feel like since we're like looking at the shadow, what are we hiding in the shadows? Um, what does our shadow, want to keep from us? And this was your card. Who am I ready to forgive? So I'm going to read this. I I am not what happened to me. I am who I choose to become. C.G. Jung, Carl Jung. Is it time to let go, forgive, and move onward? Is your soul ready to forgive someone else or yourself? Forgiveness brings sweet release, freedom, and insight. Look at it from their shoes. Notice how you grew and what you learned. Who do you want to become? And how is this resistance holding you from what your soul wants? Who do you want to become, that king and queen? Write a forgiveness letter, then practice the Ho'oponopono. I can't say it. Ho'oponopono prayer today while thinking of the person you are ready to forgive. I love you. I am sorry. Please forgive me and thank you. I think forgiving ourselves is the key here in this group. And in that forgiveness, those emotions can move forward, come to the surface, water this seed, and this connection can take place. And I will say within this group, hiding within your shadow, the world needs this gift that you have, this connection that you have, this emotionality, which to me, I would not expect this to come out of this group. I thought this group was going to be really super duper dark, just because of the deck. And so it's interesting to me because I think the most emotionality is in here. We'll have to see what the other groups, the other piles come up with. But this group is sort of feels very cosmic to me, feels very much higher self oriented. Messages from our emotions, from our spirit through our emotions, but we're like, we've stuffed them down, we've hidden them, we've lied to ourselves. And I think that what we need to do is forgive ourselves, write a letter to our very, soul self, and forgive all that which we've been holding back and hiding. I hope that makes sense, you guys. Please leave me a question or comment in the comment section and let me know that you're pile one and let me know your take on this. If this feels like it's an alignment to you, I think 2023 is about getting into your deeper emotional self and allowing that to be seen little by little and growing it into the beautiful sort of connection that you are. You really are connected, this group. Uh, Much more so than you'd let on or want anybody to know. Maybe even more than you want to know yourself. But because with this connection comes emotions and responsibility. A king or a queen, they require a little bit of leadership and this idea of we are all reflections of each other. It speaks to this idea that you maybe don't trust humankind in the ways that you've seen people behave, is the vibe that I'm getting from this card. And that's why you've hid this all away. Let it up, let it out, guys. Seriously. All right, that is your reading. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And maybe if you like these, I'll bring more of them along. All right, bye-bye. All right, hello, pile two. You guys chose Brokebird Horus. I think this is Horus. I hope it's Horus. I hope I'm not calling him the wrong thing. But you guys chose this guy, even though he's a little bedraggled. You probably had a hard run of things. I imagine you've been attacked by a cat or two in your day. That's just my own personal opinion. Please bear with me. Like, it's been a while since I've done one of these. I'm just going to put him up here so he overlooks the reading. The whole point of this is to kind of see what we might be hiding that we need to bring to the surface in 2023 in our shadow, right? So these first two cards, and a lot of these are new decks to me, so I may look up these cards because I'm really digging this archetypes deck, but I don't know it fully. These first two cards are who we are in the world and how we're perceived, right? So who you are in the world is the unseen. Ooh, interesting. And how we're perceived is the vision. Interesting. Unseen and vision. Both having to do with eyesight or foresight. That's really interesting. I may have to read these to just kind of, let me read them to you now. Hold on. So the unseen, give me 1 second. And some of these they're separated by places, initiations. It's not that. No, and of course here's the unseen. The unseen, the spirit, the ancestor, the eternal. The unseen is just as it sounds. We cannot see it, yet it sees us. Watching and waiting with wisdom, both kind and instructive, we feel this presence, sense it, intuit it, and then doubt its existence. Though it rallies our attention time and time again, the energy of the unseen may come in many forms: a compelling dream, a sudden insight, a clear voice, or a vision, or message from a loved one who has passed to the other side. It is natural to fear these communications as they challenge our perception of what is real. When this card appears, your guides are near. The eternal is present. The doorway between worlds is ajar. Listen, the sounds may seem as though they came from a distant land, but they call from your innermost chambers. Okay, so that's the unseen. Now let me find the vision really quick. I feel like the unseen is also, maybe hiding ourselves a little bit. I mean, obviously, this is a shadow reading, so everything is going to be somewhat hidden. Where's the vision? Is there like a table of contents in this book? No, that would be too easy for Kim Krans to do. Oh, hold on. Where's the vision? The creator, the destroyer, the tools. Oh, the vision, 175, page 175. Okay. 1 second. I'm getting there. This is a really cool deck, though. I need to get to know it. I love it. I like this out of all of her decks, to be honest. The vision. It said that we are earthborn with a unique vision, a destiny towards which we are aimed. It is also said that we forget this vision the moment we are born. Thus, we are sent on a lifelong journey of rediscovery. Such is the elusive nature of the vision. It slips away, yet it guides. It appears in strange dreams and surreal images, seemingly unattainable and preposterous. When we are connected to the vision, we carry an inspired, enchanted aliveness that others recognize. We trust the world and its synchronicities. We walk through new doors into wondrous opportunities. We all want to be near those with vision. They emit energy more potent than any elixir. When we lose connection to the vision, life becomes dull and exhausting, lacking meaning. Bring back the mystery, bring back the dreams. So I feel like who we are, what we're putting out there is seen and appreciated, right? Or how we're perceived is seen and appreciated. There's magic in us, there's knowledge, there's wisdom. This group might even be the group that like people come to for advice, but we don't feel like we're actually truly seen. The depth of who we are and what we know is still kind of lingering or still sort of in the background, is my feeling with this. Let's go to the next card. So I pulled a new moon or a moonology card. You guys get expect powerful change, new moon eclipse. Oh, shoot. You guys are in for a ride in 2023. It's interesting to me too that you have all of this color spectrum going on. Like what I'm feeling is that something's going on with this group's aura, your whole energy build, like what you put out into the world is about to change and shift. Some of this is coming forward, is my feeling. Some of this is like, see how this is all dotted? I don't know how well you guys can see it, but I feel like some of this is coming back. I hate fighting with this. I mean, this might be the last reading I ever do with a piece of fabric. Um, it looks like a Seurat painting with the little dots, and I feel like it's going to come back into clarity or a more pristine view. The edges are going to like refine themselves out in who we are or what we know. And it kind of feels like the unseen is becoming the vision, like it's going to come into better vision. We are going to be seen, is my feeling, with this eyeball looking at us. This powerful change is like, it's almost like the vision eclipses the unseen or vice versa, and it all comes forward. So let's go to the Wild Mystic cards. Confidence, which is the peacock. Adaptation, the octopus. We have air and water. Oh, sorry, power and action. And I feel like this is like, if anything, this isn't quite a deep purple for the seventh chakra, but it does feel very connected. And again, we have this butterfly of transformation here and this flower blooming, and she's got these, you know, she almost is commanding this electric storm. And this purple's tying me to the new moon eclipse. This powerful change that's coming. We see that word power again twice for this group. To me, action is about the heart chakra. It's also about climbing these stairs here. There's a little phrase on the back. It says, take action. The journey to find your lost self begins with one step. Doing that from a place of heart-centered compassion and trusting who you are is kind of like key, and honoring who you are, honoring the power that's within you. Own your power. Every storm brings a fresh new beginning. And this group, I think, I like confidence and adaptation because it feels like this group needs it with that unseen up there. Does that make sense? Like I almost feel like this group has maybe been not dishonored, but you've gone overlooked or felt unseen, not visualized or validated for so much of your life that you may have forgotten who you are at some points in your life. You may have forgotten what skills you have, the connections to like spirit and the power that's within you, the ability to adapt. You know, octopi, I should say, are highly intelligent creatures. And it's not wasted on me that we have this bird here, which would be, you know, air element. To me, that would be about the mind, right? Being highly intelligent, highly connected in. And we have the owl over here, which is another bird, which is about wisdom and knowledge. Like we're seen, I feel like we're trusted. This group is trusted. People come to us for our wisdom. They come to us for our vision, in a way, of how we may see a situation or what people should do in a situation. And people trust that, but do we trust it? Do we see it in ourselves? What does group 2 need to know? So I don't want you guys to see the last card, because the last card is sort of like a question to yourself, so I don't want you to see that just yet. So, and then the last two cards that go down the sides of this is open your heart to feel the love, and every soul has a story. So your first card out is the Hierophant. I'm sorry. Card number 5. The Four of Wands. Card number, and just wands, suit of wands. Card number 4. The Tower. These cards are weird. I love these animals, but they're very weird. The Devil. Shit. This group has seen quite a bit. The King of Wands. And the Knight of Swords. Wow. All right. So with this group, I feel like you're aware that you have all of this capacity. You're aware that you have this spiritual intelligence and this sort of awareness about you. You even have like outside influences or people come to you for advice. But it has something to do with, that's sort of the Hierophant's energy too, and the King of Wands even. The Knight of Swords would be, about delivering high, intellectual messages or whatever. It would be about intelligence, taking action. We see the action card here. But it's like, I get the sense that you're afraid, like, I don't know if you're afraid of your own power or you're aware of it, but it's like you don't validate it in your own world. Is this sort of unseen card? Because I can't get off of that eyeball. It feels like it's looking right at me. It feels like it's telling me that, this devil and the tower, it's like, I almost feel like these are no joke cards. This group, you guys, whoever's picked this pile, you've been through life's turmoils, and I think that on some level you feel like you deserve it on some level. But the truth of the matter is I think that the turmoil that you've been through in your life, or the challenges that you've faced, and the hardships and the mistakes and and the bad choices, let's just say with the Devil and the King of Wands here, you've maybe made some bad choices, but they've made you stronger. They've made you more agile, more intelligent, more capable in a lot of regard. They've given you power. They've given you the ability to take action. They've given you the ability to adapt. But I feel like you don't. Something about the experiences that you've had doesn't allow you to see that within yourself. Doesn't allow you to maybe fully, like, there might be a fear of this power. There might be a fear of taking action, or if I take action or too much power, I will hurt someone, or it's not hurt someone, but it's like there's a lot of powerful energy in here in this shadow, but there's also a lot of possibility for harm with the Tower and the Devil in here, and even the King of Wands, because sometimes he can be sort of assertive or what's the word I'm looking for? Selfish, right? Even the Knight of Swords can be impetuous or impulsive and come in too quickly, right? And so some of this, but I don't think that these are bad things. I think that the Tower and the Devil representing like past experiences that you've been through or been put through or created even in your life. Like the Devil could be you, could be your shadow. This group could be, y'all could be pulling some tricks throughout your lifetime. You need to kind of forgive yourself, I think, in a weird way, and understand that all of that was part of your learning. All of that was it's like, I almost feel like you're not a bad person, even if you've done bad things in the past or experienced bad things, had bad things happen to you. Like, and I mean, pretty significant bad things. We're not talking about like, stealing some gum at the candy store. We're talking about, maybe we've screwed some people over in the past or made some really big mistakes. And so our shadow, or this shadow of this group, wants that maybe to not be understood. This group could have a sort of curated version of what they show out to the world, and what they feel on the inside is not as pulled together as they would like, is my feeling. But I will say this, there's wisdom in this devil and in this tower and in this Hierophant, and there's even wisdom in the Four of Wands. This is like a, I almost feel like there's a, I don't know if it's reclamation or if that's the right word. Like, I feel like this group needs to atone for their sins on some level. Like, or you've been putting yourself through this atonement for your sins. And it's time for that to stop, is my feeling. I also think it's funny because these cards with these animals and the bright colors, even though they're not like sort of like shadow-esque, it almost feels like they throw off the color and the charm to confuse you. And we see that here with the color here and the color in there. It's like throwing people off. This group has been throwing people off their scent or off their trail for a while, is my feeling. Like using flash and haberdashery to kind of, I don't even know if haberdashery, I think that's like a hat, but whatever. Using like this sort of pomp and circumstance to kind of keep everything flowing and cute and at the surface level look good, right? But we're not really feeling like we're being seen. We're not really feeling like we're being honored. We're not honoring ourselves in this group. We're hiding away our spiritual connection, which is actually quite deep with the Four of Wands and the Hierophant font here and the Unseen Cards reading. It says to me that there is this depth to this group that you guys need to bring forward, that you need to allow the eclipse to happen. You need to allow that new change to come forth, and you need to maybe get a little bit more serious about who you are and come from the heart. Every soul has a story. Come from the soul, come from the heart, right? Step up into your power, take action, adapt, use your confidence, and bring all of this stuff forward. And the devil and the tower, yes, they're bad at cards per se, or, you know, scary cards, but it's like, to me, I think that there's a wisdom within this group of like the hardships and the things that you faced and done and all of that, and sort of forgiven yourself for, is going to be powerful medicine. And you might actually create medicine for others from this. It is, in a weird way, is my feeling, because this power and this action card really feel like we create some of this powerful change, not only within ourselves, but maybe within the world, right? And that's sort of where the vision is, where we put that out. All right, so I'm gonna do 3 cards from this In the Shadows deck. It is a relationship deck, but I'm talking about the relationship to the shadow. So I want you to take these cards as if your shadow is speaking to yourself, not like, you know, your boyfriend's talking to you, okay? It's almost like I feel like this group knows exactly what they're doing. And it's no longer working, is my feeling. Like this group might have been, and I don't mean this in any mean way. Oh, whoops. I don't mean this in any mean way, but I feel like this group might have been, these cards are really slippery, guys, and they're brand new. This group might have been playing games up until this point, thinking like, oh, it's okay, I don't need to deal with this, I'm smarter than this, or I'm, you know, it's easier just to go through life without being seen. But it's like, no, we need to really own who we are and what we know. It has something to do with the color variants on these cards. Like I have not used this deck. I didn't even look at it. I just chose it because the name of the curious creatures and the bird. I felt like that connected, and it's got no beak, so that's kind of curious. So I kind of thought that this worked well. But what I'm getting from all of the colors is this like this almost like this group tries to it's like smoke and mirrors, or it's been smoke and mirrors up until this point, and you've been aware of it. That's the kick. Like this card is just drawing my attention in this reading. It's like you've been aware of it, and you've been like smoke and mirrors, mirroring the fuck out of everything to keep people from this heart, from this soul, to keep you maybe from taking action or having to own your power. Let's look at these in the shadow cards. So I pretend you don't mean that much. Ooh, ouch. I just got done saying from owning your power. I've been here before with others. This is where I feel like you're playing games, this group. Like you've known about the game playing. This group is smart. You guys are tapped in, but like checking out in some way. Or, I mean, manipulation is not a bad word, but it feels like this group has maybe been manipulating their way along or playing the game along, and it's no longer satisfying. And your shadow has allowed you to keep safe hiding behind this game, but it's like you kind of really want to be seen. Yes, it is too late. That's a lie you tell yourself, you know that. Because it's easier to tell yourself that than to take action and to step up into your power and to be seen. And I think that with this group, there is certain things that you still sort of, I get this atonement sort of feeling from this tower and this devil. There's things you have not forgiven yourself for. Experiences that have come at you either from outside sources or experiences that you've created on some level throughout your life that you feel responsible for or guilt for or shame for. So it's like, let's just put on a brighter face. Let's just put on the bright colors. Let's, be in service to others, and let's not let's not get too real. But I think that it's time to get real when we have the every soul has a story and open your heart to feel love. These two cards here to me feel like this is really the depth of who you are. They're like at the bottom here, like kind of pushing the shadow, like we've got to come forth. Like, I don't know why I'm thinking this, but like, you can't be a healthy person and live off of like breakfast cereal. I don't know where that's coming from. These cards in here, the colors are making me think of like almost like a false happiness or like a extra bright cheery, like yeah, 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 but they're not. It's not how you really are. And I think that might be the shifting in the colors that I was saying, that your energy field or your auric field is going to transform over the next, I don't know, period, that it's going to become more real. Who you really are and what is really true is going to come to the surface and be shown and be seen. So this is the last card, which is the soul space card. Where can I create more space? Instead of filling yourself up with busy work and things to do, create more sacred space in your schedule, in your home, your mind, your lungs, and in your heart. Just take time to just be. Today's soul action: do a clutter detox of your schedule, home, and innermost self. Make space, clarity will come. What's interesting to me about this is that I feel like a lot of these colors and stuff is the clutter that they talk about, or the smoke and mirrors. If you're keeping yourself busy to avoid your soul, your heart, your power, taking action, you need to stop doing that. Group 2. I'm just gonna say that. It's time to like allow yourself to be seen, and I think that the very person that needs to see you is yourself. Like consciously. And I think this, I've been here before with others, is like this tower, like you don't believe, like in this, yes, it's too late. It's like you don't believe it's possible. I pretend you don't mean that much. Like I pretend like I don't need that validation, but I think that this group does seek it. It's almost like the like cheeriness of all of these cards in the center. It's like, look at me, hey, I'm over here. But that's not who you really are. It's just this sort of happy attractive quality that you do that is a front. Oh my god. Oh shit, the shadow's really coming for you. And the truth is the depth of these colors, right? The seriousness of these colors and the light that's down in here is what we need to make space for. You know, even these colors, they're beautiful and they're pure. They're not as candy coated as these tarot colors, I feel like. You do have the confidence, you will adapt, and there will be a powerful change for this group, but you guys have to create it. And new moons are about creation. So it's like this group has to, it's not that I don't feel like, I really feel like you want it, but I think you're afraid of it too, to a certain degree. So you tell yourself, I've done this, it doesn't mean that much, it's too late. But that's a lie too, and it is not too late. And this group can take action, can step into their power, can be true to their heart, true to their soul, create more space for themselves, and use some of this dynamism in these tarot cards to push yourself forward. The wisdom that comes from the Tower and the Devil sets you up, and the Hierophant sets you up for having a skill set that is pretty intense. The King of Wands and Knight are very intense. You've got some ideas, some experiences, some stuff you could talk about for real, this group. But you have to start talking about what is real, this group. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, guys. I hope nobody took insult to this. If you liked it, please leave me a question or comment. Like I said, I've been out of practice with pick-a-cards. I'm going to go on to the next group, and thank you so much for tuning in. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Hello, pile 3. So you guys chose the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot and Nefertiti. And I'm going to tell you that this has not been easy, because I've done the first 2 groups, and this shadow stuff is like a lot of fear in the shadow, right? Just in general. Like, what are we afraid of, is what I'm noticing. There's themes here. So, say hello to Nefertiti. We're going to put her up here so she can watch over the reading. I'm going to tell you secretly to this group, this would have been probably the pile that I'm most excited about, and I have not looked at these cards. This would have been, if I found this probably would have been the marker I would have chose, and this deck. I just love the name, the Intuitive Night Goddess, so I'd be like all on it. So we're gonna do 2 of the cards from the Kim Krem's archetype deck. I don't super know it. I am loving it though. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna set your tarot over here. And so I might have to read from the guidebook a little bit just to understand what's going on with these, but one is going to be who we are in the world, right? Or how we see ourselves, and how the world sees us, right? Or how we're perceived in the world. So let's see what those are. We have the comic. Actually, I think these are supposed to be flipped, to be honest. And the one. No, this is correct. This to me, this sad cat. I don't know why. I'm getting really hurt inner child vibes with these finger paints coming out. and this sad cat with the party hat on it. And this is just my take on it from the jump. This is how we feel maybe on the inside, right? The one is sort of maybe what we exude out into the world. And this is a very, I was reading this, and it's interesting that it's, what is this, 555 or 101010? I don't know my Roman numerals, but it's a very cool number. Is this right before this one? Let me just look at the book. I'm sorry. I'm just this brand new to this deck, but is the comic right before it? No, it's not. I just don't know what these... She goes with these Roman numerals. It drives me nuts. Anyways, the one is about like this cosmic connectedness, or... I feel like this group's shadow wants them to believe that they are just like a joke. That they are an accumulation of sort of, I don't know, like impractical dreams, or that they shouldn't be taken seriously. But who we are, and like this is how we feel, or like our internal self and our external self. But the one, and it's interesting that this has these colored lines going out like a child's drawing, but this also has lines going out. This is far more black and white, far more like connected in, right? And the one, I'll just read you the one because it's kind of an incredible reading. Our ability to experience this archetype firsthand is limited. It comes in brief and potent moments that we are left to savor for a lifetime. The one is both the energy that unites all living beings and our capacity to sense this intimate union. This archetype eludes us most of our lives, appearing as a concept in a distant galaxy. Yet when we are in the midst of its power, a solemn reverence falls across all the land. We glimpse ourselves in the vastness of all consciousness and are neither small nor large within that field. We are neither important nor unimportant. All duality fades away, and we are left with what is, the precious knowing that life is a gift. We are both the giver and the receiver of this fortune. So I think that this group comes off far more connected, balanced, tied in, or in the outside world, but yet on the inside we feel a little bit like a joke, or that we should not be taken as seriously as we actually want, as the universe wants to take us, to be honest. And so we might hide behind humor or whatever, and it may just due to like past pain and regret and sadness. So let's go to the Moonology card. It is step out of your comfort zone, North Node. There's something going on with the North Node too right now as I'm filming this. I can't remember exactly what. But stepping out of your comfort zone. It's comfortable to like use humor as a deflection for this group, is my feeling. And it's scary to step into the ownership of what this is, because this might be something bigger than we see ourselves as, or that we believe is possible for us. I'm just going to say that. There's a lot of pain in this comic. Even though it's bright and cheery and still trying to like plug along, I just sort of feel like it's not... It's not healed yet. And this is where maybe we're being asked to step outside of our comfort zone and maybe look at some of these things in our shadow that need healing still. So these are two sort of animal references just to who we are. Mystery, which is, I think this is the cat or Bastet. And cunning, which is the fox. I think that we can outsmart ourselves sometimes into thinking that, you know, we don't need to step up to the plate, that we can just like, not shine it on, but hide behind humor, hide behind what we are. And I feel like it's interesting, this cunning feels connected to this, and this mystery feels connected to this, like there's a crisscross, and I haven't experienced that in the other groups. But there's also a balance between these two cards and these two cards, right? We have a cat and a fox is a small, like, dog animal, I would call it. So there's a balance there too. This group is tapped in, like connected with mystery and the one for sure. And also extremely intelligent with cunning and the comic going on here. But are we living up to this potential is the question. So we have goals, and we have choice, an angel. And it's interesting, this says step out of your comfort zone, and these hot air balloons are in a bird cage. Do you see that? And I'm going to tell you guys that what I told group one. This to me is Nefertiti is supposed to represent more the divine feminines of this reading. And it's interesting that we have two females in these cards. So as I'm looking at these cards, I feel like they're telling me a story down each line, which I have to ask this group. This comic, we need to ask ourselves, how does this stand in the way of our goals? Does it open the gate to the bird cage and let the balloon out and let us float? Or does it not? Is it the actual cage itself that holds us back? This girl is tired. And then over here we have choice underneath this idea of the one. Like, we need to maybe choose to rise up into who we are or our spiritual nature in this group. We have to actively go after it. So let's read the backs of these. Reconsider a commitment. You have the right to change your mind. And this says, set a goal, write it down, and release the outcome. Small steps make a big difference. I feel like this choice is to step away from this comic. Like, to me it feels like the comic limits us. Help others heal by letting go of the past. Get lost in the sound of music. Oh, you're not supposed to see this. Damn it. That's your end card, sorry. All right, so let's get into the Intuitive Night Goddess and see what the tarot deck has to say to us about this group. What's group 3 need to know? I'm getting heartburn, guys. Ugh. Maybe I shouldn't have done this show. Hey, my heart's hurting. There's a lot of butterfly imagery in here. We have a butterfly here, transformation for sure. Get lost in the sound of music. I feel like this group might need to just let go. So we have, for this group, we have Seven of Swords, the Sun, interesting, meditation, the universe, the Spirit of Cups, and the Five of Wands. I think that this group is afraid that they're lying to themselves. and that there's an inner battle with some of the depth with that is within this group. This is the King of Cups in this deck. The universe is the world. Meditation, I believe, is, I think it's temperance. I need to double check. I'm pretty sure it's temperance. I don't know. Sorry guys, these are new decks to me. Not a single video have I gotten through without having to check one of the books. Oh, excuse me. Ugh. Oh, this is the Hanged Man. Okay. Interesting. There's a lot of spiritual wisdom in here with the sun, the Hanged Man, and the universe, or the world card, right? Also, there's a lot of emotional wisdom or awareness in here too. These are some powerful cards here for this group, but we don't trust it, or we fight or battle within ourselves. Like, are we lying to ourselves? I don't feel like this group sees representation of itself in the world, or this group is like sort of so weirdly hurt. There's something very clownish about this card that makes me feel like we don't take ourselves seriously enough in this group. And that we self-betray ourselves with this Seven of Swords, and we kind of battle within ourselves, like with this Five of Wands. There's maybe a constant kind of transitory fight within ourselves that we need to get out of and step up into the wisdom that is this one. This is this meditation, the sun, the universe. The truth is here, like within ourselves. We have to make a choice to go after it. We're very much connected spiritually. It's interesting to me too that the North Node here is sort of this weird kind of outer planet, but it has a huge effect on it. I think it's how our soul connects in. So the North Node is a highly like kind of spiritual planet, or it has to do with your soul connection, I believe, in astrology. And so, and it's funny, it's got these two little lines here that like are kind of coming across from the comic to the one. Like, we need to step out of our comfort zone and find our true north, I'm gonna say, and bridge the gap between this comic and the one, because they're very similar. They're actually, I'm gonna say this, they're probably one and the same. They're like two sides of the same coin. It's just we live in this one side, the hurt, sort of sad side, and there's something that's transformative in all of this. It says here, help others by heal, by letting go of the past. This comic holds something for the outside world in the one, is my feeling. Some mystery, some truth, some wisdom, some brightness, some star, some like, you know, knowledge that we should share. This group should share it with the world. And the shadow sort of blocks that, I think. I think the shadow is sort of maybe this cunning or the humor that this group hides behind. And the funny thing is this group knows who it is, I think, to a degree. Like, because the truth of the sun and the truth, like, the power of, well, the Hanged Man oftentimes is about being held back, right? And waiting for that spiritual enlightenment. But when I think about meditation, though, she looks very pleased to be there. She knows who she is. All of these people have, like, sort of crowns springing off their heads, too. We know how we feel. We know what we've even learned. There's like a wisdom within this group. You all have been to soul school. It's like, it's time to graduate. We need to like not, we need to make a choice to no longer like hide ourselves in a corner with this group. Is my feeling. Now these in the shadow cards, I'm going to do 3 of these. These are supposed to be from a relationship deck, but I want you to think about it as if it's your shadow speaking to you, not your boyfriend or girlfriend. So we have, I do wish you well. It's funny, like I feel like this group is probably closest to their shadow. Not closest like in the sense of proximity, but I mean like you understand your shadow. You've even made your shadow work for you with this comic here and this I do wish you well. It just feels like the shadow and the comic are working together. That could be the cunning of all of this. That this group is quite comfortable in the shadow. You didn't imagine it. That's the truth of all of these powerful cards within this tarot, I think. And the one, like this group has had maybe some scary experience, not scary experiences and bad. I mean, I think that you guys have maybe had some sort of experiences that actually inform you of who you are and you're afraid of that, or you understand this, the importance of this choice. Like there's an angel here, right? Like there's a choice to step into like sort of our divine birthright or our divine into the mystery, like to trust the mystery and to connect in and use the truth and the light and the universe within ourselves, within our emotions. Stop fighting ourselves, stop lying to ourselves. We didn't imagine it. We do deserve this, but we need to like bridge this gap, step out of our what is comfortable. And then, what did you want from me? I almost feel like this is your shadow going like, can I get off work now? I'm done. Like this group, we need to let it go. Like even, it's almost like, I almost feel like this card here tells me like the shadow's just like, God, girl, you're wasting your attributes. Stop mucking about with me and get out there and heal the world. Let go of the past. There's messages coming to us like in the music. There's this connectedness in this group that is, I want to say, a little bit like keyed in a way that's maybe a little scary or misunderstood, or we're afraid of being misunderstood. But signs, symbols, synchronicities, music, things like that probably connect into us and remind us that we're not the comic, that we're actually the one, and we might be afraid of owning that or stepping into that. We need to step into that, though, is my feeling. If we don't, we're doing ourselves and humanity a disservice. I'm just going to be honest. And it doesn't mean that we have to give up the comic, right? We can keep the comic, but the comic shouldn't be like the lead, right? He shouldn't be what we reside in. We should reside in the one and allow the comic to relate, to use humor, vibrancy, and color, and experience and wisdom to help transform or heal others' lives. That's some of this down here, and that's some of the goals. Like this group wants to do some, I feel like some sort of deep change within the world, right? We have the world here too. Like it's almost like this group wants to leave their stamp on the world, but they're a little bit afraid to. Um, for fear of maybe being laughed at. But there's something inside of us that, inside of this group, that you understand the power of what you are, or the connect or what you're connected to, or something to that degree, that it kind of scares you. I feel like this group too is the group out so far of all of the everyone that I've filmed. This is the group that's most in alignment with their shadow. Like these feel like the shadow's kind of trying to work with this group to come out. Like this group accepts its shadow and almost uses it as a sense of humor, and uses it as a tool in a way. But I feel like the shadow is almost tired of us doing that now. Like the light wants us to step forward and to step into the one. But we have to trust that. We have to set the goals. We have to make the choice. We have to trust that, like, everything that we have within us, stop fighting against it, stop lying to ourselves, and get moving forward. Step out of your comfort zone and do your soul's purpose, group 3. All right, so here's the last card, and this is from the soul, I can't remember, some soul something or other. The soul truth. All right, what risk can I take today? I love this blue color. Certainty blue. Be not mistaken, you will have to take bigger risks than you ever thought possible on this path towards your dreams. You will have to take the big scary leap, but do not fret, because your soul has wings. Today's soul action. What risk can you take to move towards your dreams? Make a decision to do it. No more thinking, only doing. Be brave and courageous, and you will discover what you are really made of. That's this goals card. We're being told to write down our goals and set ourselves free. There's something really powerful in this group that we have been stuffing down or hiding underneath our shadow. We've become really adept at it. We've almost become like good roommates, good Judys with our shadow. Even so much so that our shadow's like, can I go now? I've got to get to the 7-Eleven to get a Slurpee or a Big Gulp. Like, your shadow wants out. It's time to step out from behind the shadow or embrace the shadow fully. And that's what brings us into this black and white of the one. It's the light and the dark. It's the whole acceptance of everything and all that is. I hope that makes sense, group 3. This would have been the group that I've chose, and it's sort of interesting because it's kind of a scary message for me. But, and I really relate to this Get Lost in the Sound of Music card. Because oftentimes when I just put my music on shuffle and I listen to the songs, it sounds like the universe speaking to me through the lyrics. It's really weird. And so I think that some of you in this group that choose this group, you might have that same connection. And I think that sometimes we might think that we're not going to be taken seriously, or people might laugh at us. So instead of having them laugh at us first, we laugh at ourselves first. We make ourselves the joke, or we, use humor to hide. And that's all great and good and relatable, but there's more out there for us. That's the truth with this group. I really believe that. All right, that is your reading, group 3. Please leave me a question or comment. Let me know if it resonated. Just put pile 3 and tell me what you think. Hopefully, you enjoyed this pick a card. It's been years since I've done a pick a card, but I hope it helped. And by all means, step into your light, guys. Make the choice, write down your goals, take the risk, step out of your comfort zone and do it. And I will see you on the other side. All right, take care. Bye-bye. All right, pile 4, you are my last pile of the evening. You guys chose Bastet, and I believe he's a guardian of the underworld. I can't remember, but we're going to put him up here. You have the Transient Light Tarot, and then I have a bunch of cards that I pulled that I've not really fully looked at. And I'll just kind of explain them. They're just kind of to sort of give insight into what's going on in the shadow. Now that we're at group 4, I'm a little bit like, there's a lot of, just noticing like fear themes. But anyways, let's get into this and see what's going on. So these first 2 cards are from the Kim Krans Archetypes deck. I'm really enjoying it, but I don't know it very well, so I may read from the book just a little bit. One is a kind of like who we are in the world and how we're like seen in the world, right? So we have the riddle. Interesting. And, ooh, the cave. Here's my antisocial Annies coming in group 4. Y'all don't want to be figured out. I thought this was going to be group 1. You guys are in the rabbit hole of this group, I can tell. The riddle is you even confuse your own fucking self. Like, I'm going to be honest. And the cave is like, no, you're not coming in, Becky. Like, I just, you don't even want to see the depths of what I got going on in my soul. That's the feeling that I get. There's a part of you that I feel like with this group, you don't let anybody know who the hell you are. Yes, indeed, Bastet is now the god of the underworld if he wasn't before, because with the cave and the riddle, it's like, oh, Jesus, this is a hard one to pin down. I don't even need to read the examples like for these because I feel like this Ouroboros or whatever this thing is that's like looping in and of itself, I feel like it's infinite and there's a ton of like wisdom in here, but it's like this group might spin on their own thoughts. I do like the light that's in this cave. I do feel like this group probably has a lot of insight and wisdom, but you may hide it or keep it locked down through puzzles or in ways that even maybe sometimes confuse you and certainly confuse the outside world. Or they don't see it at all, right? It's like they can't dive to the depths. They can't go that far in, right? Oftentimes maybe people might be afraid of those in this group, right? You might be a little too deep for them. So let's look at I'm going to move this tarot deck off because I will shuffle it in a moment. This is your Moonology card. Be bold and make the first move, the cardinal moon. Okay. And this is like the antithesis of making the first move. These two cards here. The riddle, like to me, it's like we're too much up in our own head, like trying to figure shit out. And then the cave is like, I'm not coming out of my cave. So like, this is your challenge, is to put yourself out there or to be the one to make the first move, to make the effort, right? Now, let's look at the Wild Mystic. We have Strength, which is the tiger. And we have Stillness, which is the heron. I like both of these. We have, land and air, or earth and air, in my opinion. This tiger might be fire, but I feel like he's a land animal. He's a mammal. He walks on the earth. I feel like this group maybe projects out this sort of stillness, right? This ability to like maybe not even care with the cave here. But with the riddle going on, it's like there's a lot more going on underneath the surface of the stillness of this. And there's a strength within this group that is really powerful that maybe a lot of people don't see because of this cave card here, right? We hide it, like this strength hides in that cave. We may perceive or we may put ourselves out there in a way that's like, I'm not affected, but I think actually you are, more so than you would want to admit. But I also think that this group is still trying to figure themselves out or their shadow out to a degree. Priorities. I guess pottery might be something that you all are doing, or maybe you have some dishes that you need to do. I'm not exactly sure. This says, get your priorities straight. When you know what's important, saying no gets much easier. Okay, no, I don't want to do the dishes. And then wait. And this says, honor your resistance. Sometimes no action is the best action of all. Now, I'm not so mad at this because stillness says don't move either. And cave also speaks to not moving too much in the outside world, right? This priorities card ties into the riddle for me personally when I'm looking at this. Like, it looks like we need to get our priorities straight to help sort out the riddle in a way. Like maybe like I'm just getting this movement off of this design here where it feels like This group isn't necessarily sure maybe which right move is the first move to make to put ourselves out there or to deal with our shadow or to heal our shadow. So we need to find the strength within ourselves, which we do have, and the stillness, which is here, to apply and set forth on whatever work it is we need to do this year. Saying no to certain things, that would also be the cave. And making ourselves a priority. And I gotta pull this last card because I don't want you guys to see the question yet. And then the last two cards, these are from the, I can't remember, some sort of self-healing book. In the darkness, there is always hope. This definitely coincides with cave and, in the riddle. And then be out in nature and let Mother Earth heal you. Very earthy vibes with this group, I have to say. Like between cave, even this land, this bird, although it's a bird, it's air, right? It's Aquarian energy. It still also walks on the earth, and so does the tiger. You guys, to me, feel more practical, more grounded. Oh, well, I don't know if grounded with the cave, but this riddle feels like you kind of could get lost in your thoughts or lost in your ideas or not lost, but like confused by them or trip up on them. And we need to get some clarity. I almost feel like this group could have some sort of depression, anxiety, and you're comfortable with it. Like, that's this cave, this, and this down here. In the darkness, there is always hope. Like, it's like, you guys, in the previous group that I filmed, it felt like they were most in tune with their shadow. Like, I feel like you guys are kind of, it's not like you're in tune with your shadow, but you're aware it's there, but you don't really know what to do to change it, is my feeling, or how to heal it, or how to accept it. So you just maybe just sort of sit in it from time to time and maybe go around in circles and try and solve it, but it never quite solves. So you still feel kind of stuck in the darkness of it. And you've become accustomed to it, I almost feel like. She's even sitting in the dark here, this chick. Let's excuse me. Let's go. She's like, I'm hanging out here waiting in my shadow. I'm good. Let's see what the tarot. Oh, these are brand new cards. Stiff as a board, light as a feather. Oh, girl. This is some weird card stock. Okay. These are some stiff ass cards. Transient light. Definitely not transient light in the shuffle. What does group 4 need to know from their shadow? This feels like a lot of cards too. This feels like more than 78. I don't know. I feel like these are so stiff. Ugh. Sorry, you guys might be stiff too then. Like stuck. Alright, let's see what's going on with this deck. You have the Four of Swords, totally internal. The Two of Wands. There's something about this spending time in the darkness for you that actually works, though. The Nurturer. Oh, this is the Empress, I think. And this is about the spending the time in the dark. And it's interesting because we have a pearl here, and there's this like, whether it's a planet or a pearl, it looks like some sort of jewel in the center of that riddle for you. And this light that's in the cave, it's also here in the pearl. And there's a transformative, like the Four of Swords is about like withdrawing inward and going inward in the mind, right? And so this butterfly to me is definitely transformation. When I'm looking at this Two of the Wands, it's like, where do we want to be in the world and how do we want to be in the world? And it's like kind of like snapping that, pulling that, making that decision, making that choice. Letting our spirit like solve this riddle for us. But there's still this kind of like, similar to this design here with this string around it, like this group is sort of bound in some way. And this might be sort of the first move that you need to make. You like make a hard and fast decision to like, which direction do I want to go? How do I want to get myself out of here? We have the Champion of Coins. So this is, I don't know who the champion is. Shit. I've had to check every goddamn book because everybody wants to get slick and change the name of the tarot. Champion of Coins. Who the hell's the champion? Is it the knight or the king? I can't tell. Damn it. Let me just see. 1 second. Okay, so it's the Apprentice of Swords. It's the Knight of Pentacles. Oh, this group ain't moving. You guys like it in the dark. I don't know what y'all are doing in the dark, but you like it in the dark. You're not in any rush either. The Devil, interesting, speaking of darkness, and the Ace of Wands. I feel like this group has some really beautiful, powerful things within you, but you also are sort of stuck. Now, I don't want to say stuck, but it's almost like you could be addicted to the depression, the sadness, the heaviness. But there is something in here. There is some sort of treasure. There is, like the Empress is here. There's a nurturing in here in the darkness. There's a space in here where you can actually gain, like, you know, i.e. pearls of wisdom or answers to the riddle of your existence or who you are or where you want to be in the world. And then you can bring it forth out of the cave. The Champion of Coins or the Knight of Pentacles is about not moving until you really are sure and waiting, you know, it out, discerning out your answers. I like that it's a little black bird, like it's a crow, you know, I like that about it. But I feel like there's also a heaviness to the Knight of Pentacles at times that makes me feel like, is this group going to move, or are you going to deal with your shadow, or are you just going to sit in your shadow? And I'm not so sure that sitting in your shadow is a bad thing for you, because we have the Two of Wands, the Ace of Wands, and the Empress, right? Four of Swords can indicate healing. Is certainly like a mental healing that's going on during this time when we sit with our shadow. So I don't think that this is a bad place for you, this group, to be. My only warning would be, don't let yourself spin out or get confused by it. And don't let yourself get stuck in it or addicted to it or consumed by it, with the Devil there. And I also feel that way too with priorities here. It's kind of telling you, like, you know, yes, it's okay to sit in this and get familiar with it, but you've got to make a move. You've got to take action at some point. That's the Wands here too. These are your spirit, like, in here, in the midst of all of this darkness or shadow stuff that we've told ourselves along the way, or believed or bought into the hype, and now we need to find our way out of it, right? Or shed light on it, or bring it to the surface and accept it for what it is, instead of like trying to be confused by it. being still with it and being strong with it, or showing our strength, our resilience towards it, serves us, I feel like, in this reading. But we want to be careful that we're not so content in sitting in it that we don't ever change it. Does that make sense, guys? I hope that makes sense. Now, these next cards are the In the Shadows deck, and they are a relationship deck, but I want you to use these like phrases as in relationship from your shadow self to your conscious self, right? So these are statements that are coming from the shadow that is part of us towards us. You are not part of my plan. I think this sitting still or staying stuck here is not part of your plan. There's something that you need to get out of this. There's this, it's almost like I feel like the depth that this group goes to is going to harvest this deep ability to nurture or heal that you need, like you need to go to these depths to get up out of it, to come out of the cave to teach others, is my feeling. And this is like, you are not part of my plan, is like you weren't planning, your spirit or your soul wasn't planning on getting stuck in this like space of the riddle, or these ropes of not making a decision at the spirit level. This has been a shift, and we need to cut this rope. There's a devil or an addiction or a something here that we've gotten stuck in that it's time to get out of. But we need to figure out when the right time is. There's a lot of procrastination energy in here with weight and this Knight of Pentacles too. I will say that. So, and stillness even can be about, you know, not moving. So I feel like this "you are not part of my plan" is, I don't know that we planned to stay in this murk as long as we have. The one thing that's happened is that we've gotten really comfortable with it, so at a level that I haven't seen in any of the other three piles. But I feel like the comfortability is almost like we sink down into it. And we're not, I don't want to say we're not actually changing it, but I don't know, when I'm feeling these cards, I don't feel like we know if we want to change it. I want to tell you so much. This is where I feel like the riddle comes in. I feel like our shadow envelops this group. It really overcomes us to a degree. It sucks us in like the devil, and we can get trapped in it. We have the strength to get out. We have the stillness and the awareness. We have to be bold and make the first move to move ourselves out of it. We need to use our priorities. The one thing about this Weight card is there's this light shining on her eyes. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but I just sort of feel like there is a little bit of light getting in there to her on her eyes. We might need to focus on the light, or getting ourselves the light that's in the cave, to find our way out of this in this group this year. And then the last one is, I wondered how far this would go. I think your shadow knows you're coming up on it. I mean, like with this group, I feel like this kind of feels like the shadow nervous to me a little bit about, oh shit, am I found out? Have they realized that I'm not the comfy warm blanket that I've been pretending to be this whole time? And I'm not trying to make light of anyone's shadow or struggle, right? But what I am trying to say is that some of you have become quite comfortable in just sitting in this mire and not really doing much about it. And I feel like the message here is, it's like 2023 might be the year to change this, or whenever you're seeing this video might be the year to really start to assess. I think some of your comfortability at the level of living in this cave or dealing with the riddle has created some of the strength that is within this tiger. But the priorities to me feel like they're pushing now. Like it's time to come up out of this dark spell. Be out in nature and let Mother Earth heal you connects to the Empress energy too. Like this group may not leave the home very often, or you might have trouble getting out of bed, is my feeling. Overwhelm a little bit. And that's okay, guys. There's no judgment on that. I want you to understand that. But there is something, there is like a wisdom, there is a healing, there's something really awesome in this group that you guys have. Even this flower that blooms in the darkness to me looks like that pearl a little bit, that daisy. Like there's something here, even amidst the dark. There's an answer, there's a gift here that I think you guys hopefully will find if you're bold enough to make the first move. Now, this is the last card. This is from the Soul Truth, and it's, am I on the right path? It's just a question you should ask yourself while doing this work. Sometimes we second guess what we are doing. The riddle, guys. We lose trust in the process and question if we are even on the right path. Know this, you are on the right path. Keep going, keep believing, keep remembering that you made a soul contract that you are currently fulfilling in every area of your life. Even if you can't see it, that doesn't mean it's not real. Today's soul action, today's search for all the ways you are aligned with your soul's purpose. The signs will appear. Let the newfound trust fuel your next steps. I like that because it says be bold enough to make the first move. Next steps, first move. It's time for this to shift. It's time for this, I think, to lighten and for there to be forward movement, even if it's slow at first. But we will move forward. Even this bird in stillness is moving towards what I consider the future. You need to trust that you're maybe right where you are, but you need to also make sure that you don't stay right where you are. That's priorities too. And this, what is the gas station, 76 gasoline, it makes me think of that tiger. He wants to go. So you have to trust when that's going to be. This also, you're not part of my plan, could also be your shadow saying, oh wait, you moving forward and leaving me is not part of my shadow plan. Like I want you to stay here in the murk and mire with me, with the devil. I want to tell you so much. Let me just show you who you are and riddle me this, riddle me that, and keep you kind of confused. And I think we don't want to get caught in that. Does that make sense? I hope that does, Group 4. If you did like it or enjoyed it, please leave me a message. Just comment in the comments and say, hey, Group 4, it made sense or whatever. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry it was so rough. It's been a long time since I've done pick-a-cards, and reading on the shadow is kind of interesting because it's sort of like this elusive darkness, fear-based energy that a lot of us try and like avoid. And so I hope this helped give insight into, whatever's going on inside of you that you might be able to potentially bring to light and heal. All right, take care, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.